Whenever you're ready.
All right. Hi, my name is Ellie Erickson. I am the station manager here at KUOI, and then...
I'm Abigail Spencer. I am the news producer here at KUOI.
All right, and we are here with Seattle band General Mojos. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
I'm David James. Guitar.
I'm Dune, bass.
Butler. I'm
Yes.
Raul Harden, drummer.
I'm Natalie Colvin with the keys.
Nice.
You're with the keys? I with General Mojo's.
We're all correcting each other, you notice that?
You know, I was solid. I
I
don't
was gonna say you're the one that read the prompt card right.
I didn't correct anybody. So you guys make fools of yourself.
The ends of the sandwich.
know.
All right, well, great. We're excited to have you guys here. You're playing at John's Alley tonight, and you guys have been to Moscow before. Do you like the city? Like, how many times have you been here?
Collectively, probably. I don't know, I've been here a few times over the years, but it's my first time at General Mojo's.
Yeah, this is, I think, as a band, this is probably our 5th time.
Oh,
playing
wow.
at John's Alley.
Do you guys have like connections to the Moscow area?
Well, we met Vertical Dave, who kind of runs the joint, the first time we played. And there's kind of a lineage of bands from Seattle coming over and playing at it. And he was just really kind of stoked on our band and what we were doing, and he encouraged us to kind of come back a few times a year. And so we did a couple times before the lockdown, but then since everything's reopened, we've been coming back like three times a year. It's been super fun. So
What do you do when you're here, other than play?
so
We just ate.
We had a lovely person we met a couple times ago who just loved our set so much that they brought us mac and cheese from a truck.
Grub drop.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the first thing would probably be the food is pretty solid.
Oh, and we always go by tie-dye everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got the tie. He's repping.
Oh, awesome.
Tie to everything.
Oh yeah, I think I am too. I am too.
That's funny. I love that. I'm gonna get me some clothes. But what would you guys recommend?
As far as food goes, I really like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
a really good brunch place, and it's just downtown on Main.
We missed it by 10 minutes.
That's where we went last time.
Oh.
Oh, actually, yeah, we did go there. It was great.
Yeah. I really like Humble Burger. They actually recently just moved so that they're like closer to downtown.
We just ate there.
That's where we started. We got a little bit of the food coma happening in front
Yeah.
of us.
Coffee.
Well, cool.
What's the inverse of a food coma? Like if you don't have enough, just famish. Just like what is that?
Hangry.
Hangry. We would have been hangry if we hadn't stopped at Humble
There we
Burger
go, yeah.
before we came in.
Good choice. Good choice.
It's true. It's real facts.
One thing I was interested in looking at the stuff was where your band name came from.
So there's a there's a jazz bass player who I'm a huge fan of named Steve Swallow, and one of his tunes is called General Mojo's Well Laid Plan. And it's like a 60s kind of art pop jazz tune, and it just seemed like a cool name. And I kind of feel like he was ripping off of like the Sgt. Pepper's thing.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a lot of love for all things like late 60s, so it kind of fit with what we were trying to do, what we were trying to convey.
What would you say your biggest musical influences are?
Well, Dune should, I will say, if it doesn't come up, Dune has been the sole member of this band for 10 or so years. So a lot of the music that we're playing on is something he's written. I think as things go, we'll be more part of those writing projects, but so you should speak on how the where the influences are, because
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me it is just like just psychedelic music in general and improvisational music, and what we've been kind of doing a lot of as we're starting to really mesh as a band this kind of like, I don't know, like extreme individual self-expression as like a player on stage, and I mean, so I think that all the influences are important because they're all,
Everyone.
Natalie's got like a musical theater background. Raul's like, I mean, you've got a little bit of everything, but you definitely bring a lot of like
Yeah, a lot of
R&B
shit.
and
But
hip hop
yeah,
to this.
it's all that stuff.
That wasn't here before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And David's been practicing Queen songs in the back of the band.
For the past like 6 hours.
So those will inevitably come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of like drew you guys to this like genre of music?
Well, you have to talk about the food. I'm just gonna make you talk the whole time.
He specifically, as we walked in, he's like, "You guys are gonna handle all the questions."
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Charisma.
Well, I'll say.
But no,
I'll say
that's
what drew me to
perfect.
what drew me to Mojo's. I think they sound a lot like the Beatles. I say that they because I know I am playing on Mojo's, but I didn't always, and I used to go to the shows, and I was like, wow, they sound like the Beatles, and I know I made a couple more comparisons than that, but I love the Beatles, so that was a huge draw.
My nephew is named Jude after the Beatles song.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah.
yeah, classic.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really dynamic. It doesn't really just sound like one thing from track to track, and some of us being like newer members, we have kind of all put a little bit different outlook on some of the same songs. So we've been able to bring in a little bit of a different taste to them. But the music is already laid out in a really versatile and expressive way that keeps it really interesting. So there's like just full out like rock sections and like improvisation, but then there's just like total trip out sections. But then there's parts where like it's much more just like boppy and fun and dancey and lots of like great harmonies, and we all sing. So I think that's probably something that we all have in common that drew us to playing this project.
I think it's funny he says, didn't mention the improvisation and the exploration in the music and in the sound of it. I first saw General Mojo's, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, and I was blown away about how tight they were in the rock part of the music and the improvisation. But I didn't play with them until like a year ago, or didn't talk to them until about a year ago. And all I really remember was the song structures and the arrangements that he had were really fantastical and epic in scope and whatnot, and really had like an hardcore theme overall. And so typically those styles of writings or those types of composition lends itself to a lot of structure. So when I came into the band, I thought I was coming to it was easy because the songs were set, the songs are learned, they're packaged, and the writing is such that it doesn't, from my point of view, it doesn't require a lot of extra glitter and fancy because they're just so well written. But in the last like 2 or 3 months since I rejoined the ensemble, we've been doing more and more of that exploratory kind of nature, improvisation on the fly, kind of jamming.
Yeah, it all comes back to the form too. So we all.
Yeah, that's really important. That's in any jam band. You know, the thing that makes it really epic is to be able to like, you know, get a solid groove or solid foundation that's familiar to everybody, and then take it somewhere else, because then your fans are like, ooh, what are they gonna do this time? You know, oh, I haven't heard this iteration of the song, or are they going to go to something else? And then we come back to the form where we're going to a different song, and they're like, oh, and those
We're not
are
a fucking jam band though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We are a band that jams. So.
Could you explain what a jam band is, and why you would not or would classify yourself and other bands in that kind of category?
Jam bands. Every jazz band is a jam band. So if you're a band that has any elements of jazz in it, you are going to be jamming at some point. Jamming is basically, in my opinion, is a groove that allows people to move, that has no pre-written form per se. There may be just some like musical ideas that are expressed repetitively, because otherwise if you're not jamming, it's like free jazz then. And then you're just kind of creating a ambiance or an atmosphere that allows people to move through the music. And any time that you break away from the form, it's a jam. So it could be for 15 minutes, it could be for 15 seconds, it could be for 5 minutes. And in my opinion, because you're jamming out, what's rocking now, there's
Jamming is not reserved for jam bands.
Jam bands, yeah.
Like any kind of band can get into a jam.
Yeah. And so being a jam,
like a
and
flat tire.
Yeah.
And so,
but like a jam band is more like Fish, for example.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it's a little more narrower of a.
yeah, they have songs and whatnot that are arranged with start, begin verse, chorus, bridge, whatever, etc. Like most music is structured that way. But you have these moments in a jam band. Well, they'll branch out. One song could last 13 minutes. And so they'll start with the original song and then they'll explore somewhere else. The music does not stop.
Aimless heathens.
And then they'll come back, at the end of something, and we do have moments of that, where we stretch out for like a minute or two and go and explore the form of the tune, and then come back to tie it all together.
Sometimes like playing hot potato.
Exactly.
Say, now you go.
And it really speaks to the musicianship, the quality of musicianship of all the players who are involved, to be able to take it somewhere where it's never gone before. And bring it back, to be able to maintain a certain cohesion in the chaos that can be improvisation at 120 BPMs, 100 beats per minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you all joined the band at different points. How did you guys meet?
Yeah, I guess a little more explanation in there. Like Mojo's has a bit of a, it's kind of a community of players. Like we do like based on availability or just for whatever fun reasons, we'll swap out players here and there. So sometimes it'll like manifest as like a 5-piece. I think a couple times last year we had 7 people on stage, where we had like 2 keys, 2 guitars, 2 drummers. So basically, we just like kind of get to have fun with the arrangement. But on the road, like if we're leaving farther out of Seattle, it's sometimes easier to. Well, it's definitely easier to schedule with 4 people than 7.
But
So
going back, has there ever been 2 bass players?
no,
Okay, yeah.
no,
Not yet.
there's not.
I could totally, I could use like some time off.
Use a break.
Put my hands up and just sing. No, it is fun whenever it's.
When did you first join? With
Right around the same time as you. So I had been out of the country last year for like 4 months down in Mexico, and right when I came back in June, Dune had hit me up and said, "Hey, can you fill in on a couple of shows?" And so my first shows were in June of last year.
When did you guys meet?
I actually don't remember exactly when we met, but we've known each other for like 4 or 5 years.
In the arts, I mean, I think with Raul, I've known for the longest, and just because we run in the same circles in Seattle, same music overlaps. And then David is similar.
Music overlaps and friend overlaps.
Yeah.
I knew him. Okay, so I have a memory of not when we met, but when I realized I knew him.
I have a similar memory of you, yeah.
It was I went and ordered a burrito at this really yummy spot in Seattle. But in the back, they had like a kind of an open floor plan, and there was like some sort of hoedown going down. I don't remember what it was. It was like early afternoon, and I looked back there to check out what was going on, and you know, it was like mostly like middle-aged and up folks just like doing all kinds of like swanky moves, and Dune was back there playing upright with whatever band it was, and I was like, and he was all, hey.
I remember,
like over the crowd.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
I totally remember that. I was really wondering where that story was going, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was really wondering what you were doing there.
And then
Yeah, and then I lived in New York with the pandemic stuff, and then I came out and just wanted to do my own music, and he produces as well as doing all the cool things he does, and so we connected on that, and then we vibed, and from there on brought me on. So
Are you all from Seattle?
More or less.
More or less.
yeah, more or less, yeah.
I mean, that's where we kind of all met. It's kind of been at this point.
Yeah, we've all flown out of there, but come back.
What's this music scene been like post-COVID?
I think it's still recovering.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Venues are recovering too, so it's like this.
yeah. It's nice to get out and go experience other music scenes.
Moss is
But-
full.
What is it?
Moss is a full. It's great.
Yeah, the,
No, we've got some really cool stuff on the robot, and also some really weird stuff on the robot.
Not great stuff. It varies.
The robot is of varying quality.
Yeah, General Mojo is on there now, so.
so to answer your question about the music scene, we all have different takes on what the pandemic's been like for all of us. You know, I've had the greatest time in the music scene since pandemic. I took a good almost decade and some change away from playing music, and then got back into the scene about 2018, 2017, and then 2021 I became a full-time musician post-pandemic. But I feel like post-pandemic in Seattle, the venues were the last places to open. So you know, if you were a creative artist or a creative musician, and you had other members in the community who wanted to get out and play and to congregate to play music, you know, when you could, it was all outdoors. And so we just got really creative and started doing things outdoors. And so in doing that for me personally in my musical career in the PNW is what it opened up so many doors. Just because we weren't thinking about what we couldn't do, but what we could do, and we weren't thinking about what wasn't allowed for us, but you know, what we could make for ourselves. And in doing so, when the venues did open, they recognized that because you had, you know, social media and people showing up to shows, taking photos, yada yada yada, and spreading the word, you know, very grassroots in a way. And so when all the venues reopened, the two or three ensembles that I was in or just working with were at all of those venues really quickly, a lot, and from there it became, you know, 4 bands, then 5, 6 ensembles for myself. So I mean, it's just a little different, you know, what aspect you're looking at, you know, so far as the music scene goes. You know, which scenes? You got funk, jazz, rock, psych rock. You know,
In general, it seems like people are still a little bit hesitant to get out, and you know, even if it's starting to make a bit of a recovery, then
I think it's more so too. These people just got have become so kind of I don't think there's. I think there's people still waiting for other people to do something, you know, or people were just waiting for that thing to really galvanize them or jolt them or to shock them into the music will come back, the people will come back if there's something that is the catalyst to excite them, to kind of shock it, you know, whether that's the return of Bumper Shoot or, you know, some type of large festival to really galvanize people to come back into the scene in Seattle. It's just to wake the city up. We had a little bit of that last summer, and even the summer before, I mean, the end of 2021. I mean, because everything was shut down until July 31st, 2021. But last summer, for me, it was I felt that it was a re-energizing. It wasn't quite back to pre-pandemic, but I don't think I want to go back to pre-pandemic because there's a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of institutionalized kind of structure, so much more money involved and resource driven. And I think, you know, the way that, you know, at least in the community that I've been really involved with, we're really doing things from the artist's perspective and from the artist's point of view, and also not just with the music, but also like empower them to like think more about the infrastructure and what it takes for an artist to do something, to create something, whether that's grant writing, whether that's business plans, whether that's creating an LLC or a nonprofit, but getting them empowered with not just their talent, but like having them like attain all the other tools that come around with like exploring and expressing and sharing that talent. So
a big change too is like a lot of venues, a lot of towns have closed, and closed permanently.
yeah.
And I mean, one of the things we love about coming to Moscow is playing John's Alley, which Vertical Dave is like. I mean, as a musician,
Explain Vertical Dave.
it explains itself.
I think most people watching this are gonna probably already be familiar with Vertical Dave too.
But
Sorry.
He is a Moscow legend.
I've yet to meet the Vertical Dave.
But we like for musicians, like you know, we had a really hard time with the lockdown, and when the music came back, it was, you know, we got to like dive back in, and everyone was like, "Yay, go musicians!" But like the people like Dave who like kept their venue alive, who are booking music and keeping music alive. I mean, I think that venue's been around for a few decades now, and that's like the real, like I think the real heroes in especially independent music right now is the people who make that kind of stuff happen.
I think music is a tool for connection. I think especially like live music. The first show I saw post-pandemic was Kurt Vile at the Knitting Factory in Boise.
Nice.
And a local band from Boise opened for him. And then leaving the venue, my boyfriend and I in the parking garage saw the bassist from the band. And it was just kind of it was a surreal moment because I was able to be like, you were my favorite part of the opening act. And it's just, live music is something very special, and it's something, I don't know, you wouldn't think of how much it affects you not having that, like with COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys are on tour. What's your favorite place that you've toured so far?
Oh, Moscow, Idaho.
Oh.
For sure.
No, I'm not gonna lie, it was LA because it was warm as fuck.
I respect it.
It was warm. Santa Barbara was warm.
We had a great time in San Francisco.
San Francisco was dope.
The weekend before last.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun. LA was great, but we played at the Zebulon, which has a lot of cool history and like the psych scene. And we played with some really cool friends of ours named Pearl Earl, who, if you ever get a chance to run across them, they're super great.
Really good, yeah.
All girl band.
It's like surf psych.
Yeah.
Kinda, it's just really hooky.
Super-
It's really, really great.
And then we're going to Mexico on Thursday.
Yeah, I saw you guys are playing a festival in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
You guys excited?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Super excited.
Do you guys have a lot of like festival experience?
Not down there, but yeah, West Coast.
It's technically our first international with this band, right?
Ever, yeah.
Yeah.
This,
Wow.
yeah.
So it's
But we
a fun.
love festivals. I think that's like my favorite atmosphere. I think to play.
Of course,
Being
yeah.
outside.
It's just-
Go for it.
And-
Take it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was the first band I ever booked for a festival, General Mojo's.
Oh yeah, you put Departure.
Yeah, Departure Festival, Quilcene, Washington, on the coast.
This is sponsored by.
Oh,
The
man.
office is sponsored by LaCroix.
LaCroix.
We also did Burning Man.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
That
It
is
was
cool.
It was very, very cool.
We rode on
It's
top
also-
of we played on top of an art car.
Oh.
That was.
Oh yeah, and
It was
I had
super
a fire
magical.
lever. So I had a keyboard that was set up, but I felt like the Phantom of the Opera. Pulled this fire lever. Anytime I chose,
It was just
anytime
spitting fire like
impactfully in
50
the,
That
feet into the sky.
yeah,
Like
and it
too much
warmed
power.
the.
Oh, so
Yeah, it warmed exactly.
It was like on all of the climaxes of every song. It was
Yeah.
like. It was awesome.
It was great. It's fun to have like almost another instrument on stage. But yeah, I think there's. I don't know if you know what an art car is.
Nope.
So it's a moving vehicle that has art on it. So people make a bunch of really cool pieces that they are meant to be moving throughout the desert city, right?
For sure.
And there are a couple like art pieces that are like put in place that you can walk and go see, but you can like be weary through the desert and see an art car and then just jump on.
Yeah, it's
Be
like
on a new adventure.
mutant vehicles
So would you
of
say-
varying size and theme and
So,
everything,
yeah.
from like dragons to like sea creatures to a giant keyboard called Melton John.
Yeah,
which
Melton
people also
John.
played on.
Yeah.
So it's like a. Would you say it's like a cross between like the Thanksgivings, Macy's, the
Oh,
Macy's Thanksgiving
I
Parade,
mean-
and Mad Max or something
Oh,
like
wow.
that?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's-
oh, that's like a.
That's
that's
what that's kind of what I'm.
That's
I'm
good. I
envisioning.
mean, like the spectacle, they're not shy about the spectacle, which it's juxtaposition. It's weird because the juxtaposition of like that and then where you're camping and how you're living.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
I have yet to go, but I plan to be there this year.
Nice.
Have you guys? Oh, sorry.
No.
So you guys want to talk about bringing that for 20 minutes?
Yeah, we could seriously go.
Have you guys ever played an Idaho Music Festival, Tree Fort, or Moscow does but hasn't done since COVID, Modest Music Fest?
I haven't, but the
We
band
played
has.
Treefort twice,
Oh, cool.
and that's always been a lot of fun.
We're getting to send reporters to Tree Fort.
We're going to Tree Fort.
We're going to Tree Fort.
We can talk about
Nice.
Tree Fort afterwards. Because I played Tree Fort last year, not with Mojo's, but I played there last year, and I may still be playing it this year.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Be sure to let us know if you do. We'll
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
We'll do something. Yeah.
I'll talk about some other ensembles, but not for you guys to check out.
We played Treefort twice, and it really got us into Boise, which was huge for us.
Mhm.
And now we have like a connection at this place called Humpin' Hannah's, which
Mhm.
recommend going there. Yeah, or you know already.
I'm not 21 yet, but I've heard many
I
things.
haven't had the chance to go yet. I would love to.
Yeah. we're
That's
heading over
awesome.
there in April
Oh, okay.
22nd.
The
to-
woman who owns it.
Yeah,
is-
Rocky.
Yeah.
So we're opening for Rocky's band, which is going to be really quite
They
good.
got free the boobs everywhere, as in like bras hanging everywhere. It's like as a, if that's an appeal. I don't know. It was to me.
I think it should be for everyone. I think that's be appeal for everyone.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I was glad you guys came and got to talk.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned you all, in addition to playing with General Mojo, you guys play with some other people. Anyone else do you guys want to plug while we got you?
Well, if you're over in Spokane, there's a band called Patterns of Saturn's playing tonight. It's an hour and a half away, so I don't think we're going from the fan base here for our show. They're called Torn Frost and the Patterns of Saturn. You'll probably know the name Torn Frost. He's a 6'3", barefoot, blonde hair, blue eye, vagabond, but he spits hot fire. It's an amazing MC. And I play with that band, but not tonight. Because
I just joined a band called Queen Mother.
Yeah.
It's a Queen cover band, which is why I've been in the back of the van, like practicing Queen material.
Yeah. That's a dope band, dude.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Our first show is going to be at the Tractor on March 18th. Or, well, my first show with them. But, yeah, and then,
I've got my own solo stuff under my name, Natalie Colvin. Some 5-track EP which he produced for the tunes.
It's super fun.
It was really fun.
If you keep up on her stuff or Mojo stuff, her and I have a duo side project that we're cooking up, but it's not revealed. It's still nails.
To be coming.
but we
Yes.
may be playing some little, some
It's
little.
true. There's a number
Some
of
singles off of the upcoming LP.
But should we plug this show, or are we not allowed to plug the show?
No, we are.
You can plug a show, yeah.
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 So if this does go out today,
I'll probably post the end of this as like a clip to go today.
For sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So let's maybe you go ahead.
Get
and
in
should
here,
we do
guys.
it? Yeah.
You wanna get in here with us?
Get on the
Oh.
sofa.
Okay.
Sweet.
Here, I'll go this way.
Okay.
And what do we say?
On down to John's Alley.
On down to Omniville. Wow, my button just shot off of my coat.
Your button did?
Oh no.
Oh, right between my legs. Wow, we get friendly here.
Wow.
It's nothing
This
new.
happens often.
Yeah.
I was worried it was the spirit of the station infecting
Wow.
This station's got good vibes. Every song's been playing. I'm like, whoa.
So,
Hey everybody,
Hi.
Come on down to Omniville.
to
John's Alley.
Sally.
Tonight. What day is it? February
February
17th.
18.
18th.
18th. That's what I thought it was. February 18th.
Tonight
at 9.
at 9.
And if you can't make it at 9, we'll play it for hours. So just to show up.
If you can't make it tonight, then just make it tonight.
Yeah.
Or make it midnight. Then it's tomorrow.
Yep.
And we'll be
Yeah.
playing at least till 1 or 2.
And if we got a couple new singles out that I think are on rotation here, so keep an ear out. And we come back to Moscow a lot, so yeah.
Hope to see you soon.
Thanks for having us on
Thanks for
today,
having us.
KUOI.
Yeah. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
Have a great show tonight.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Peace.